Hello, Interverse, YouTube, DTube, Facebook, Twitter, Steam it, Whale Shares, wherever you may be. What's up, my tutorial crew? Crypto G here, coming at you with another Feynman Lightworks video tutorial. The Feynman tutorials are designed so that anybody can understand them regardless of age or experience. I shall leave out all technical jargon that is unexplained, and I explain it as simply as I go. Okay, so in the last title animation video, we saw how to create a nice sort of fade in and out effect like that. We didn't do it that accurately. I was just showing you the effect. Now I want to show you another effect which should be quite nice. I'm going to remove all that I just did in the previous video, come back to the beginning, and we're in the VFX tab, by the way, and we're going to add an effect. And last time what you just saw was two-tone strap RH text. This time we're going to go with fade, strap, and logo insert. So let's get right into this, because this one is a bit complex, but it's a really good little logo, and I absolutely love this one. So first of all, let's have a look at the left here. Okay, let's have a look at the left. Let's close them all down and have a look. So at the top we've got blend. Remember, color correction is always there. That's not part of the effect. First of all, we've got blend, logo, heading, subheading, and shape. So however, look, you can see when I mouse over, we've got position, logo, but we don't actually have a logo there yet. We can see the heading, we can see the subheading, and we can see the shape, which is the grey strip going along the bottom. So in order to bring a logo in, you have to actually do just that. It doesn't just give you a default logo to play around with. So if you've got a logo that you do want to use, you simply click down here. I'm going to go to my logos folder. Okay, so here we are in my logos folder, and I'm just going to go down to the thumb, which is the smallest one, 280 by 280. Double click on that, and there we go. So now we've got a logo, and we can move that around, and you will now be able to understand what blend means. So let me just show you what that means first. So blend is how it blends into the actual strap. So it can either be in front, we can add it to the strap, and so that's whereby, if you can imagine, let's just move this up, it gives an additive. It basically adds all the background colors, whatever it's in front of. Sorry, I just moved that up. Whatever it's in front of gets added to the actual image. You can see there, look, you can see the trees through it and what have you. So it'll add the color, or we can have multiply, and play around with these. Screen basically means it's just as it sounds, it's being screened. Overlay, which means you're overlaying it on the actual strap. Soft light, hard light. I won't go through all of these. I think it's difference. I quite like difference. Okay, so we're going to leave that. I'm going to put a, no, I'm not going to put, I'm going to put a keyframe on that in a second, but I won't do that yet. Okay, so first things first, let's get it to the right size. So as you can see here, we've got the master scale here, which will proportionally shrink your logo. You can also stretch or squeeze your logo as you want if you feel the need to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit it there, and just bring that down to sort of roughly there. Okay, then we can crop it if we want. as well. You know, if there are parts of the logo you don't want to use, you can do that. I'm not going to do that. And obviously we can position it exactly where we want. X goes left and right. Y goes up and down. Okay, so I'm going to make that a little tiny bit smaller. Okie dokie. Right, now we have the heading. And let's just give him his silly name again. I'm just going to select that. And type out his name, Jeff Awesome. Here's his subheading. Calling him a pro badass again. Pro badass. Okay, and we're going to make that bold. I'm going to take bold off of that. Okie dokie. I'm not going to do the position yet. Okay, so those are the first things that we're going to set up. So rather like the last one, we're going to look at, you know, where we want this to come in. And we're going to do, if you did watch that last one, I'm going to do it, I hope, a little bit smoother than I did the last one. Okay, so as you can see, it's a bit jerky because it's a bit more processing power and I'm recording the screen. So I'm just going to click forwards with these arrows. That's where I want it. Okay, so this time we can see the sort of differences between bottom, top, left and right. So I'm going to take the top closer to the top because this time I want it just around where his deck is, skateboard, and we're going to bring that up to sort of there, keeping it roughly the same size as it was. And now I'm just going to move my logo straight up actually. Just going to go on the Y scale and move it to the left. Oh, wrong one. Just going to undo that. Ah, that's annoying. Undid everything. Okay. Okay, so with the shape here, we're going to just come up to the top. Sorry, we're going to bring the top up higher to the deck. I'm going to bring the bottom up. I'm going to keep it roughly the same shape. Okie dokie, same size I should say. Now the logo, make sure we're in position. Just remember there are two XYs, you don't want to mess around with the scale, which is why it's good to shut down the ones you're not needing. Minimize I should say. Let's move this to the left, oh sorry, to the right. And that will bring it up. Okie dokie. That's about right. We're going to leave the blend for now, and we're going to go to the heading. Simply move that up to the top, and then move that to the left slightly. I'm going to make it a bit smaller, I don't like it so big. Set the actress to the bishop. Okay, right, now we're going to go to the subheading and we're going to move that up as well. Let's go position and move that up to join there. You'll see with the y-axis, if you've noticed, sometimes you move it to the left and it goes up, sometimes you move it to the right and it goes up, depending on what you're doing. And you know, you'll probably get used to it if you leave it alone, but it's no biggie if you don't get used to that, because you can always just quickly test it. The X always works the same, left is left, right is right. Okay, right, that's good enough. That's good enough. It's not the most amazing design, and I would probably spend a little bit longer on it. if I was doing this properly. But yeah, I'm not going to change much. I'm just going to change the color. This time I'm going to go a bluish color, because of course we've got two colors on this, which is what makes this nice by default. The other one we had two colors on, but you know, we could choose. Like, I like this. You could either make them the same colors, you know, and just copy the hex code if you want it one single color, or do this. Okay. Yep. And subheading. Face. Color. Yeah. It's a nice color. Yeah, we can do color too if we want, I think here. Oh no, we can't. It's grayed out. Oh, that's because, yeah. If we go vertical gradient, there we go. So if you want it the same as the last one, that's how you change it. And sheen here gives us a slightly different feel. Okay, but I like vertical gradient, which is going from this color at the bottom to this color at the top. Okie dokie. So, in fact, I'm going to change the top onto sheen. Alright, it is on sheen. I'm going to change that to vertical gradient then. Yeah, I prefer that. Okie dokie. So that's where we are with that. Now we're going to take the blend. Now we're going to start adding our keyframes. So first of all, let's look at our video. So our skater's coming along, and he goes up, ollies over the picnic bench, and bang. So we want to decide how long we have this logo up like this for. So at this point, I want the logo fully extended. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mark. Actually, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a cut, which is C. And I know from just watching it that C, yeah, I want it maybe a bit less than that actually. Actually, let's undo that. Okay, so I want him up. I want the logo to be fully extended by about there actually. So I'm going to add a cut, C, and I'm going to scroll over and let's go back. Let's keep pressing those one frame at a time to about there. Yeah, C. Okay, so I've just added two cuts down here to the timeline by pressing C. So now everything in this bit, all the parameters in this bit are going to be as is. So now I'm going to start telling Lightworks what I want changed, because remember, we're going to keyframe this so that it gets animated. So the first thing I want is the blend. I want that animated because I want that to change from not being able to see it fading up to 100%. So I definitely need that as a keyframe. Next, what else do I want to change? I don't want the position of the logo to change. I'm quite happy for that to just simply fade up. Oops, just right clicked there. I'm just quite happy to fade up. I don't want the scale to change, and obviously I haven't got any kind of crop on it. So that's all I want with that. Okay, so it's only the blend that I've changed. For heading, I want that to come from the left. So I want the position to change, the left position to change. So that's right, yep. And I want the opacity to change. So I also want that to fade up. Oh, sorry, I don't want to change it yet, but I just want to show you, obviously I want the opacity to change. Okay. What else do we want to change? We want, in the subheading, again, we want the same things to change. This time I like it coming in from the right, so I'm going to change the X. I'm going to make it come in from there. The further away you get it to come in, the faster it's going to come in, you know, if you don't give it enough time. So I want it to kind of not be too quick from about there. And I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Let's just change that. There we go. So I want that to change, the XY. Obviously I wanted to make sure I kept this value because I'm happy with all these positions. And I want it to fade in and out, to fade in rather. Okay, last thing is the shape. And for shape, I want it to animate, to scroll across, to zip across from right to left. And as it does so, I want it to reveal itself from top to bottom. No, actually from bottom to top, because he's jumping, so I want to follow the movement, bottom to top. Okay, so I definitely want the left. That's at 0%, so I can show you. I want it coming across like that. I don't need the right. I will need the bottom for the end of it. So, and I will need the top. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got, okay, so it's given us, yeah, it's given us an automatic keyframe there, which is not what I wanted. So I'm going to delete that keyframe. And I'm going to go to the previous cut, which is where I put my C. And that's actually where I want my keyframe. But for some strange reason, I've noticed this with Lightworks, it won't actually allow you a keyframe right at the top. Maybe it's saying that that's a keyframe anyway. I think that's the reasoning behind that, that is a keyframe anyway. Okay, so let's go to what it considers the next keyframe then, which is there. And this is where we want it to start. Just after here, we want it to start going. So we're just going to jump forwards 2 frames. Okay. Now we can add a keyframe. Let's just make sure all of these remain. You see, because it's now, let me just quickly explain this. Because I've made a cut here, this bit here in the middle is now considered a separate clip to the rest of the video. The video is now in 3 separate clips. So all of those changes that I just did, I'm going to have to do again. All right, because as you can see, none of this is keyframed. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to quickly go through and do exactly what I did on the first. Opacity, position, XY, heading, opacity, position, X, and blend. So we didn't do anything to the logo. And we've got to do the same thing for the this clip here. So let's blend. Heading and opacity. I'm going to close that down. Position, font, opacity, and do all of those. Okay, so as you can see, when I put the arrowhead to different places, you can see how on the left here is changing, you see, because that's how I had my menu there. If I go to the left, you see I had that open. So it's 3 separate clips, okay? At the moment, everything's the same. So let's go to our first clip. Let's go to our first clip. Our first clip, we're going to say we want the titles to start coming in about there. So between here where my playhead is and here where this cut is how long it'll take to get to this point. So first things first, let's take down the blend to 0. Shut that. Let's take down the I'm going to do the heading, the shape last. Let's take that down to 0. And then before we take it down to 0, because I have to see where it comes in from, let's do the position. It's going to come in from the edge of the screen. Okay, now we can take that down to 0. Okay, and subheading, we said we wanted that to come in from the right of the screen. So let's move it to the left. Sorry, from the left of the screen. So move it to about there. That's cool. Not too far in front of where the logo is going to start. It's going to appear. And opacity down to 0. Okay, now let's mess around with the shape. And if you watch the last video, you can see, because we've got no positioning here, we manipulate the position by manipulating where the top, bottom, left and right are. So we want it, first of all, we want it coming in from the right of the screen. So we're going to move it from the left to the right. I just want to leave that there so I can see. And we want it coming up, so I'm going to move the top down to the bottom. That's it, and I'm just going to move that all the way over. Okie dokie. Now, let's jump to our next keyframe. Okay, let's go to here, jump to our next one. Okay, so now we've created those. We can now, go to our next cut. Make sure we're on that one, and we're going to say this is where we want it to start to disappear, which is fine. So we're going to go to, we want it disappeared from about here. Want it disappeared. Yeah, we want it completely gone by this point. And this time, so first of all, we're going to get that down to 0. Oops, I haven't done anything with the logo. The position of the header font is going to follow him that way, back from whence it came. And by that point, it'll be 0. So in fact, we can move it a bit further so that we see a bit more of the fade. There we go. See a bit more of the fade. Okay. Yep. Okay, and now we're subheading. Same thing. Let's get to position first. Let's just move that off the screen that way. And take it down to there. Okay, now the shape. Now we want to go this time top to bottom. want to go like that. We want it to go to the right. I don't want it totally off screen before it just collapses, so that you can see the whole of the collapse. Okay. Okay, keyframe added. Right, let's just double check all of our keyframes. Okay, let's go here actually. So strange where it doesn't put on a keyframe, but it is, trust me, it is seeing that as a keyframe. Okay, here we go. So this is where we're going to start the video from. See, okay, go. And there we go. So that would have been a bit jerky for you guys because obviously I'm recording the screen. And there we go. And so that's how you create a nice little animated effect on the titles, using titles, I should say. Just got that in. It goes, we see his name, we're able to read it, we've got the logo, and off it goes. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit long, this video, but it needed to be in order to sort of understand, for you to understand all the various things we've got going on with that. Let me know below if you want to see more title videos, or if you want to learn about any other aspect of editing. Let me know below. Crypto G.